Good morning, Richmond High School. My name is Amal Chen, and here is the weekly news.
Buenos días, Richmond High School. Mi nombre es Paola y estas son las noticias de la escuela.
This week's top story in the rising case of COVID-19 in our community. As of January 3rd, there have been 84 positive cases of COVID on campus. A high number of students and teachers have been absent due to either testing positive, being exposed, or not wanting to risk infection. Its height, about 18 teachers were absent on Tuesday, or about 25% of teachers according to RHS admin. This has resulted in heightened stress for students who have to give up prep period to sub. Here's what teachers had to say.
Las noticias principales de esta semana en el momento, el aumento de los casos de COVID-19 en nuestra comunidad. Hasta el 3 de enero ha habido 84 casos positivos de COVID en el campus. Una gran cantidad de estudiantes y maestros se han aumentado debido de que dieron positivo, estuvieron expuestos o no querían correr el riesgo de infección. Alrededor de 18 maestros estuvieron ausentes el martes, o alrededor del 25% de los maestros, según el administrador de RHS. Este resultó en estrés para los maestros que tuvieron que renunciar a un periodo y asistir como otros maestros en otras clases.
My name is Luis Chacon. I teach 11th and 12th grade, and I teach Chicano Studies and Ethnic Studies.
Okay. So there's been a high number of students and teachers out due to COVID. How's it been like teaching during this last week?
It's been very difficult, probably the most difficult in my 7 or 8 years of teaching. Just a lot to manage, both in terms of like COVID safety, instruction, curriculum, supporting students who aren't here, supporting students who don't feel safe being here but are here. So it's just been a lot.
What are your thoughts on how the district is handling the surge of cases?
I think the way that things are being handled right now really shows the limitations that exist in the system as it currently is. It's either been a lack of resources or a lack of coordination, a lack of support, lack of understanding by the district and the superintendent. So I think there is definitely a lot of room for improvement, and I'm hoping that the district listens to what students and staff have to say about what we're dealing with.
Do you think we should be at school?
I really do want to be at school. I do want to be in person teaching and in person learning. But the way things currently stand right now, just both in terms of case numbers, the numbers of teachers absent, students absent, lack of testing, lack of PCR testing and rapid testing for students and families, it's just a combination of things that don't make it ideal or productive for us to be in school, at least right now.
Would you like to add anything else?
Not at the moment. Just please listen to students.
All right, thank you. There's been a high number of students and teachers out due to COVID. How's it been like teaching during this week?
So this week, I think a lot of the challenges that teachers have been experiencing, or at least I've been experiencing, is how do we best support our students? We need to continue to teach, and we need to continue to hold high expectations, but at the same time we know that we don't know what all of our students are dealing with. So, if a student is at home, we don't know exactly how we can help them continue to learn and continue to engage in what they need to be doing with their classes. So I'd say that's the main challenge. But the other challenge, of course, is just the shortage of teachers. So teachers filling in for each other and having to go without their prep periods. Good morning. Having to go without their prep periods, and then find that time to do the grading and do the calls home and figure out how to differentiate their instruction and plan their lessons and find the time to do that.
What are your thoughts on how the district is handling the surge of cases?
It's really complicated. I think on paper they have certain things in place that if we asked them how they're handling the situation, they would be able to rattle off a list of things that they're doing. Requiring KN95s for teachers, enforcing the vaccine mandate for February 18th, making sure there's air filters in classes, requiring students to wear surgical masks, opening the testing sites. That's kind of their memo. But when we're here and we're on site and we're seeing that these things are dysfunctional, they're not all working in the way that they're supposed to. And we see that in the lack of masks that we have available. Like I sent a student to replace their mask to get a required surgical mask the other day, and they were sent back to my class because we didn't have any. We still are having trouble getting students into the testing program and getting them to test. We're not testing that many students. We don't have enough teachers, and teachers are moving from pod to pod to pod to class to class to class to sub, which is just continuing that exposure. So there's just a lot of things that just aren't working the way that they look like they should on paper. And I think that's reflected in the number of cases that we continue to see going up and up.
Do you think we should be at school?
I also think that's a really difficult question for me to answer, because I'm not every student and I'm not every family and every parent. So, I see it from both points of view. Right now, it's hard to justify being at school when every single class is like at half capacity, and a lot of classes are being taught or not taught by subs, and we see the cases continue to rise, and the question really comes down to how much learning is taking place. What percentage of our students are engaging in rigorous and relevant learning right now? So I do see the argument of let's go online for a couple weeks and let's get the vaccinations in. Let's enforce that February 18th deadline. Let's give people a chance to finish out their quarantine. Let's give people a chance to test. At the same time, though, I know that canceling school puts a really big burden on a lot of families in terms of childcare, in terms of just figuring everything out. So I feel like we need to collect more data from our community in order to inform that decision.
All right.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just think that everybody's doing their best. It's crazy times. I try to tell my students, and maybe I don't say it enough, but you all are having to be teenagers in very unprecedented times, and you have to think about everybody else in your actions. We're asking a lot of you because of what is happening in the world right now, and I just hope that we can all be there for each other at the end of the day and continue to do our best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here with
Emilio.
how do you feel about being at school with teachers and students having COVID?
I mean, it's kind of scary because I'm scared to get COVID too and be quarantined for 14 days. And I'm not trying to miss the soccer season because it's kind of fun right now.
Okay, thank you. I'm here with
Emily.
the question is, how do you feel being here at school with teachers and students coming out positive with COVID?
Like I feel like scared because like I don't want to start feeling sick because the students, like I don't want the students to get me sick.
Okay.
So yeah.
How do you feel about being here at school with teachers and students being out with COVID?
I think it's dumb. I feel like they should close down school because they're like, by us being at school, it's like a risk with all of us getting COVID. And the only reason they're not closing down school is because they're more worried about money than our health. And I find that stupid.
Kevin.
How do you feel about being here at school with teachers and students having COVID?
I mean, I've never got COVID, so but I am scared of it. But at the same time, it's like I got to do it.
Mireya.
So how do you feel being at school with teachers and students coming out positive with COVID?
I don't know.
I really don't care. Like, as long as I'm not getting infected with COVID.
Classrooms have also been half full and students are not satisfied with the district's decision to cancel class and double down on in-person learning. As a result, students are planning a sick out day today, Friday, and on Wednesday. Here's what organizers have to say about this.
Los estudiantes no están satisfechos con la decisión del distrito de no cancelar las escuelas y continuar el aprendizaje en persona. Como resultado, los estudiantes están planeando una baja por enfermedad hoy, miércoles y viernes. Esto es lo que los estudiantes quieren decir.
Leslie Martinez.
What academy are you in?
Media.
What grade?
11th.
So tell me, why did you organize this whole walkout, sick out day?
Well, I mean, it kind of started with my friends just seeing how like it has been around here, and at first it started with like a walkout, but since that idea didn't really float that well, we decided that we would try to do a sick out to try to like find a way to like get better conditions that we're in, because the conditions that we're in right now is like really bad, with like the understaffing, and a bunch of people are like out on quarantine and a bunch of people are getting COVID. So we're just trying to find ways that we can make it safer at the school and in the district overall.
Do you have any demands towards this?
Well, some of the demands that I've kind of come up with other people that I've just been asking is what is it? Can we make this separate?
Can you tell me your demands?
Some of the demands that I've come up with other people is better testing sites for the community, more at-home tests, better air filters, because some of the classes have failing air filters, the required masks for all the students. Also, some other ideas are testing twice a week, since once a week is like it's higher for COVID cases to go unnoticed, and also required testing in the schools, because if you leave it up to other people, sometimes the information can't get relayed to the schools and it'll cause more COVID cases to be transferred. What else? That's all that I can think about right now, but we have a couple more in our official, well, not official, we're still working on it, but our Google document that also has a petition for everyone who wants to sign it.
Thank you very much.
Principal De Leon said students have a right to exercise their First Amendment rights, but if they do so safely. Here's what he had to say.
El director José de León dijo que los estudiantes tienen derecho de ejercer sus derechos de protestar si no lo hacen de manera segura. Esto es lo que tenía que decir.
My name is José de León, principal of Richmond High School.
Okay, so my questions are, how many cases of COVID-19 have there been in the school so far?
So yesterday we had a community meeting. We reported out that we have 70 cases that have been on campus since January 3rd. Those are only the ones we found on campus. We're thinking there's at least another 80 to 100 students that have not come to school because they have COVID-related cases since January 3rd.
Do you know how many students are out? Is it in general or only staff and students?
Right now in general, since January 3rd, we had about 600 to 800 students out per day. Last Friday was probably our lowest day. We had about half of the school was out. Right now, we're about 65% of the school is present.
Okay. Are you aware of the sick out and no longer a walkout? Can you comment on it?
Yes, I am. What I can comment is what I told the person who brought it up last night. It is your civic duty as a student, as a person, to do a walkout. Just make sure that it doesn't become to be not at school for the sake of not being at school. If you're not at home quarantining, if you're going off with your friends and meeting up and being around without masks, It's actually the opposite thing, right?
Yes.
You're not being safe, but you walked out because you wanted to be safe. I did get a chance to look at the list of demands. I did send them down to the superintendent. We'll want everybody to have their civil liberties and to be safe.
Okay, thank you, Mr. De Leon.
Thank you. All right.
Goodbye, Richmond High School. Take care.
Adiós, Richmond High School, con cuidado.